It's now my honor to introduce my high school assistant principal, Mrs. Heather Grantham. She has been an administrator at JA for 4 years and JA's chemistry and physics teacher for 4.5 years before that. During this time, she has made an incredibly valuable contributions to our school. As a member of the administrative team, she has shown herself to be an intelligent, humorous, dedicated, and calm team player. She has a very large personal goal, which we need to work on by giving her lots of hugs. Thus, I am thrilled that Mrs. Grantham will take over the helm of this outstanding school. I am confident that along with our amazing faculty and staff, she will continue sailing the ship in the direction of excellence in academics, athletics, fine arts, and all the things that you kids do each and every day. Please welcome your principal for next year, Mrs. Heather Grantham.
I'm learning. So, at the assembly with the 7th graders this year, I told them that I wasn't a big hugger and that high fives and fist bumps were just fine. And what did they all do? They swarmed me and they hugged me. So I'm getting used to it. Class of 2014, congratulations. This is your day. Enjoy it. Savor this moment. You have a special place in my heart because 4 years ago, as you were entering the building as high schoolers, I was standing there waiting for you as your new assistant principal. You may have spent years at JA as students, but your role was different, just as my role was different as well. And so over the last 4 years, we've grown together. And you allowed me to make my mistakes. I allowed you, I held you accountable when you made yours. Over the last 4 years, what I've learned about you is you have excelled in your role as high school students. As a class, you defined yourself as a class that likes to have fun. You like to work hard. You are fiercely loyal to one another. And you have a strong sense of who you are. No matter how many times Ms. Malott, Mr. Wilson, Ms. Adams, Ms. Stringary, no matter how many times we talk to you, you listen, but you may not have always heeded our advice because you wanted to have fun. There's no problem with that. These qualities that you have as a class are the keys to your success, so hold on to them. Your commencement speaker today shares many of these same qualities. He too has shown a fierce loyalty to students, to faculty members, and to his friends. He served many roles at JA, mainly because of his passion for working for students. He served as a newspaper advisor, coached the middle school and high school football teams. Who knew we actually had a football team? High school basketball, middle school boys basketball, middle school girls basketball, track and field, and he even had a brief stint as a middle school girls soccer coach, in which, thanks to Allie, Molly, Heidi, and Alicia, he never lost a game. And I have to go, he wrote that. He came to Jefferson Academy in the fall of 1999, along with Coach Sharpley. This was the same year that the high school was created. He started off as a middle schooler, and eventually he got to move to high school. So it took him a little while longer than it took you. 7 years to be exact. He ran the middle school social studies program, and he is one of the only ones that can say that he has taught nearly every JA student to walk across a stage and receive a JA diploma. It is my pleasure to introduce your commencement speaker, to give this final lecture to you, Mr. Eric Thimsen.
Thank you, Mr. Randall. Mr. Gary. I need to get my camera so I can get a selfie here now. Members of the Jefferson County and Jefferson Academy School Boards, and members of the class of 2014. It is with deep appreciation that I humbly accept this honor to speak to you. I hope you will forgive me on this momentous occasion as I attempt to put into words what my head knows, what my heart is having a difficult time digesting with a graduating senior out there. To the graduates, members of the faculty, special guests, parents, and friends, I extend my welcome and congratulations. I'm so pleased to be able to address you. I'd first like to give a hearty congratulations to this class of tremendous seniors. Not only are you the largest graduating class in the history of this fine institution, but you're also, without a doubt, the biggest group of slobs this school has sent in report. Your disregard for simple messages gives the stuff of legend. And without question, you are due for some moments of conflict in the future when you realize that others will refuse to be your mother. And in hearing Jordan and Marissa speak, I was also looking at the program. I'd like to congratulate you on the class song. The selection of Don't You Forget About Me from the movie The Breakfast Club, the same song that I had back when I graduated in 1989. And as I make you the coolest class ever, the biggest dorks ever. You gotta decide that. But receiving this honor speaking to you is humbling. More than humbling, I must admit that it's impossible. Rather, while I've made the walk you've made, I must admit that in high school I was never forced to undertake and meet the rigorous educational standards that you guys have been forced to meet. In fact, not many in this room can say that they were made to become what amounts to college sophomores by the time they graduated high school. In very little time, you will have the ability to surpass those educational hurdles that we have jumped and move beyond us with more perseverance and determination. I stand here, therefore, feeling a sense of awe as I look at you, even a touch of envy at how ready you are. The royal phrase from the Apostle Paul, in regards to your high school education and your school, Jefferson Academy, you have fought the good fight, you have finished the race, and you have kept the faith. Now, when thinking about what to speak to you about, what to send you out into the world with, I must admit I was thinking about the wisdom of some past people who spoke in this very spot. If you were here last year, you would have gotten a great lesson from Mr. Purcell on the road to excellence. And a few years ago, a former teacher, a biology teacher we had by the name of Dr. Morgenthau, advised kids with a simple maxim that I'll never forget, when she proclaimed that where you go, your values go with you. I would ask that you remember that as we as parents have instilled you with a set of values, and you are now charged with taking those values and making us proud as you begin your journey into adulthood. What I want to talk to you about is the moment. When I say the moment, I'm not talking about the stereotypical commencement speech of seizing the moment. See, we all have our ideas about what the amount of time that defines the moment is. And generally, it involves a short amount of time. Some moments in time are often described in our pop culture. It was Kelly Clarkson who sang a moment like this. Likewise, the late Whitney Houston sang one moment in time, when I'm more than I thought I could be. And NCAA basketball fans will no doubt are familiar with one shining moment as the highlight to the finale of the men's basketball tournament. But while the small moments in our lives are great, it sometimes becomes a very small amount of the overall grind of life. While the moment I speak of can be a simple, small passage of time, probably safe to say that I'm speaking of a week, a month, or a season of your life. But a moment of your life that exists concurrently with the point in time that you are in. Not in the future and not in the past. You see, we've been hammering into you the past 6 years that you need to prepare for the next moment. The moment of amassing the right credits, the moment of graduation, the moment of getting into college, the moment of career readiness, and on and on and on. And sometimes in our single-minded pursuit of what's next, we fail to reflect on what's now. People have got smartphones, I assume. We see that from Jordan. And I assume you've already taken a dozen pictures or recordings by now over the past hour. And you're, of course, the generation of citizen photojournalists, armed with smartphones and ready to capture any and every moment and upload it onto Instagram or Twitter, well before the moment can even be processed in your minds. You're also a generation that remembers every detail of what it was like the first time you crawled across the living room floor, the day you took your first steps, or when you melted down on that first day of preschool or kindergarten. Not because your early memories were so sharp, but because you had lived those moments in home video. And so I'm curious to know, graduates, will you remember this day? What it smelled like? What it looked like? The emotions and expressions on those around you? The people that are here to celebrate with you? How uncomfortable those shoes are that you have on? Or did you remember your last weeks and days that you spent in that senior lounge with the 600-pound senior prank tire? Did you relish the final nugget of wisdom you got from your favorite teacher? Did you fully grasp the enormity of the blessings that you had on the volleyball court, the basketball court, the football field, the soccer pitch, the baseball diamond, the track, and the stage? And did you appreciate those blessings while you're in your final weeks of practice? Will you remember your life as a senior? Or you remember it only through video clips on a 3-inch screen on your iPhone? Are you living your reality through electronic viewfinders and 140 characters? Or are you living it through your God-given senses? You want reality programming? Look around. It's all around you. This is what's now. Absorb some of the moments that are making up your final days as a young child. Breathe it in. My point, of course, is not about the downside of tweeting and planning ahead, reflecting back. Those are great. But it's about making sure you don't miss the scenic pull-offs on life's journey just because someone like me, or Mrs. Malott, or your parents are in your face constantly asking, what's next? What's next? What's next? One of the recent moments we as teachers have been treated to and exposed to has been the ever-present case of senioritis that has developed in us. For the last semester, we've been treated to a very normal rite of passage that sees productivity plummet and whining increase. I can't tell you how many times I heard the phrase, I can't wait to get out of here. While it's pretty standard fare wherever seniors in high school exist, it is my hope that your ambitions to get to the next place haven't consumed you to the point where you became indifferent to the journey itself, or indifferent to the people around you that have been with you every step of the way. In your moment of happiness and forward thinking, I would encourage you to be sensitive to the moments of others. For senioritis or your own elation does not give you an excuse to neglect the moment of pain that others may be feeling. But also, it's extremely important for you as you're busy climbing the ladder in your own educational and career path, that you're not so eager to step up to the next rung that you forget to pause and turn around and appreciate the view around you. You guys are so conditioned to see life on a video screen that in my observation, you don't allow yourself to soak in those things that you can only see with your own eyes. So as one of the most tenured teachers at Jefferson Academy, then, if I were standing here giving my final lesson to you, which I am, I might have already thought about the process and what you needed to take home. What's the life lesson that history will have you learn today? And so it is within that spirit that I share with you 3 most important moments that life will throw your way. It is in these moments that life is won or lost, achieved or failed. These moments are so important because we all have it. So let me share with you what I've learned about those 3 moments. Number 1. Moment 1, you'll have moments of uncertainty. Uncertainty involves doubt and hesitancy. Throughout your life, in your near educational future, in your relationships, and in your career, you will experience moments of sometimes intense uncertainty. Sometimes that uncertainty will result in the tough choices that you're forced to make throughout your life. Other moments of uncertainty will be the result of the times that we live in. Uncertainty can be due to economic or political turmoil caused by events beyond your control. I recall, as all of the people behind me do, the day we were taking to school on a beautiful Tuesday morning, 1 September. Suddenly our world was thrown into a whirlwind of uncertainty. You guys are just kindergartners. That's tough for you guys. They were kindergartners. And that day was September 11th, 2009. And that day demonstrated that the world we thought we brought you into was never going to be the same. There was a lot of uncertainty at that time in our lives, but as history has shown, it's important to meet uncertainty with calmness and resolve. Winston Churchill, no stranger to uncertainty, said it best when he said, without a measureless and perpetual uncertainty, the drama of human life would be destroyed. So it is important that you know that uncertainty is going to be a part of your future, and that it's going to add to the drama of your existence. It's also important to know that making decisions during moments of uncertainty are best done prayerfully and with clarity of mind and a firm resolve that your training and instruction has led you to the correct path. And never forget that the people that are here in this room with you are the best people to help you deal with your moments of uncertainty. Moment number 2, you'll have moments of despair and failure. None of us will be immune to life's moments of despair. None of us. What we call despair is generally the pain of unfed hope. What it will mean is that you dared to dream you came up short. You imagined a world or a relationship that couldn't come to fruition. Our basketball and soccer teams this year dared to dream. And with those number 1 seeds going into the playoffs, they carried a lot of our hopes and dreams on their shoulders. And when they came up short, the despair and pain was all too real. And these moments will rear their heads from time to time throughout our lives in ways that range from failure to tragedy. In these moments, it's important to remember that this is God's way of pruning the vine, of reminding us of our need for growth, and that our utter reliance is on the love of others. I remember a time when Coach Sharpley first moved back here from California. And at that time, behind his experience and expertise, we were trying to get a little business off the ground called Jam Basketball. And we got into a business deal that we thought at the time would be the answer to all our dreams. And we thought it would help us grow this business and make a lot of money. So for 3 months one spring, while we were still teaching during the day, we labored for 16 hours every day, 7 days a week. Personally, our families were both up to our chins in debt. We had babies at home. They're here. And in those months, we barely saw our families. And in the end, when I cut final checks, we earned less than $1,000 each. $1,000. Probably not even enough to pay for the gas we used to drive the little kids. The anger and despair we felt having made a bad business decision was very real. But looking back, I realized that was a necessary function of growing a small company. You learn what to do and what not to do. The failure helps you grow. And in those moments of despair and failure, when deals went bad, when dreams weren't realized, when I failed at a job, failed at coaching, or in a more serious time, when I was dealing with nursing a cancer-stricken father as he was dying. It sounds strange, but in those moments, when all of my senses were heightened, I was never more alive. It doesn't mean I'd ever want to go through any of that ever again. I don't want that for any of you guys, but I have to be real. But I feel more prepared for those moments having gone through those failures in life. And all I can tell you when you're going through fires is to hang on. It will get better. And you will be better because of it. Finally, number 3. You'll have great moments of joy and happiness. It's worth noting that happiness can mean different things to different people. It's a very subjective experience, happiness is. Some of you will label happiness as a state where you're no longer plagued by desire. Many, if not most of us in this room, may fantasize about how much happier we would be if only we had more money. There are moments you will have that money can't buy. And thinking that dollars or single events or even single people will equate to moments of happiness and joy will only leave you with more despair. I prefer to think of happiness as being a part of a series of special moments. I believe that you will find your greatest happiness from doing something special, loving special people, and hoping for something special in the future. After more than 14 years at Jefferson Academy, and 20 plus years as a coach, and then as a teacher, I still get the same questions. Why teach a JA for less a day? You want to be an administrator? You want to be a coach somewhere else? Or do you want to go to another school? Basically, people ask me, what's your next moment? And the assumption is there's no possible way to be fully happy as a teacher, particularly a JA teacher, right? I used to answer these questions in an open-ended way without really being certain of what I wanted to do when I grew up. Now my answer is pretty simple. If the time comes when I can't find joy and happiness in teaching at Jefferson Academy, then I should move on. But you know what? Knowing I get to spend many moments with students like you guys has been exceedingly rewarding beyond what any paycheck could ever provide. I've seen your faces as you first laid eyes on the Eiffel Tower or the Roman Colosseum in Rome, not in Italy. I've seen your greatest performances in the arts and in athletics. I've celebrated the highest of achievement with you. I've tried to console you and counsel you through some really low times. In my career life, I have found immensely happy moments, done something special. I've loved special people, and I get to hope for those that walk across this stage, the best is yet to come. I only hope that your future career moments will be as rich as mine. The times with which I've been blessed to spend with you have been exceedingly rich. In conclusion, let me express my sincere hope that as you sail headlong into the future, pursuing your passion and fulfillment, that every moment, be it a journey of uncertainty or paths sprinkled with despair, or a beautiful series of moments of joy and happiness, it is my hope that it proves to be a deep, enriching, and lasting education. Never stop appreciating life's moments. You'll graduate from here today, but in life, class is never dismissed. Class of 2014, congratulations, and may God bless you. Thank you.
That was fantastic. And even as a class of 2014, we did a fabulous job of choosing Mr. Thimsen to be the commencement speaker. And I hope that you listened to everything he said. And even though he talked about technology, I hope some of you recorded it, so you would have heard it later.